And I'm live. Hey guys. We are all right. Well, this is happening. So I'm trying to get the Instagram to go live. But give it a few minutes. Give it a few minutes, see if anyone joins. No, I don't think they will. Looks like oof. And of course, just as I start the live, the dogs start wrestling. Like they wait for me to. Ooh, Dylan's doing a thing. So let's interrupt him and frustrate him. All right. Stop! I'm gonna turn the mic off. Oh, that worked. All right. I'm gonna try and get actually just the Instagram live up too, because I don't think people in the moment are gonna catch this. And I am live. All right. So I'm gonna move the camera. Johnny Pumpkin, stop. Good. All right. So, bam, bada bing, bada boom. They were calm until I started doing the live, and then they leave. Don't trip over the. Don't trip over. Leave. All right. Hey guys. Hey. You Instagram and YouTube. I'm going to do a thing, and it may mess things up, but let's take a look. I'm doing a thing. Thing looks good. All right, let's do it. Let's drink the new Malfung. I'm gonna turn it like this. Bam. All right. So new Malfungs are in. So I gotta say, let me not accidentally rip through anything. I gotta say, my Instagram should be the same thing, Sweetest Dew. If you lost it, that's because I got kicked off last year, so there's a chance you've seen, if you were following me and then I disappeared, it's because Instagram kicked me off. I got hacked. So this is this is so exciting. Oh. Okay. So that's really cool. So the maker, what they did is they actually gave me a sample of the Shogun, which is the handmade and the half handmade. They gave me a sample of both. Let me fix this so I can. Sorry. So they gave me a sample of both, which is really, really nice of them. But this should be the 100% handmade. So this is the 100% handmade Shushian. Oh yeah. Notes of kettle corn, like that sweet corn. A little bit of a nuttiness to it. There is a little bit of that. There's a taste to Shushian. I will say there is a taste to Shushian. And it's not so much a taste. There's a taste, and I hesitate to say that because Shushian's such a big area. Let me see if I can pop this on something so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I can turn this down. Oh, that's good. That's good. Shushian's a really big area. It's probably, of all the areas within Huangshan, it's the biggest. This is just a rinse of the cups. Just dump that in there. All right, good. Here we go. So it's the first tasting. I honestly don't usually weigh things out, except if I want to get the honest, like the most accurate flavor, which is a questionable thing. So, yeah, I was noting that it's important to say that this is from Shishian because Shishian, there's a lot of smells in here, and I think it still has a bit of that charcoal aroma because I think this was done like a day or two ago because I messaged her a while ago, and I was like, "Hey, I'm interested in getting the 100% handmade," and she was like, "Great, I will let you know when it's ready." And then she was like, "It's ready." I was like, "The tea is ready," and I was like, "Great, how much is 100% handmade?" And she gave me a price, and then she was like, "Wait, you want 100% handmade?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she gave me a slightly higher price, and she was like, "I need to make some more." So I think this is that has a really very clear orchid aroma. A little bit of vanilla, like vegetal nutty. There's kind of a strength to the flavor that Izzy that the Mao Fengs don't have. There's a little bit more of a typical green. Oh yeah, same garden. Unfortunately, by the way, it's the same garden. It should be the same garden. I'll double check with her because last year, in the years that I've known her, she has had her own. She's had her own garden. Well, she's been the years that I've known her, she's been with a tea house, but now she has her own tea house. And her own tea house is actually in Shushian. And I think it's her husband. So it's no, yeah. So it's the garden, the tea house in Twinshi was her and her husband. No, she doesn't have a husband. I gotta check. So notice some pretty small leaves. We are definitely talking first pick here. Just partially bad planning. Notice I'm not quite filled up. And that is definitely going to affect the brew. Definitely going to make it stronger. I keep starting this sentence and I don't finish it. The important thing to understand when I say that it's Shushian, that is being picked now, it's important to remember that it's Shushian. And Shushian is slightly lower elevation, and it's lower elevation, and so the teas are going to pick a little bit earlier. The Tonko, the Hogu, the Chashan, the Feng Sun, I might look into this year. They're not picking yet. They're gonna start picking around Qingming. So they're starting to pick soon, but they're not picking yet. I'm nervous. I'm always super nervous. And so I also have off to the side, I have the Bilochun, which is the fire walk. The fire walk, the wood fire stir fry, the wood fire sha qinged. And so after this, we're going to get into that. I should have brought a filter. You didn't see that. I didn't just use my finger. I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. So at the moment, I have 2 ounces. These are super, super small. I'm so nervous. I really hope it's good. And this is the, when we're talking about no. So this one is wok fired. And when we talk about 100% handmade from Mao Feng, that's one of the big things, that this one is wok fired. Um, Usually, Mao Feng does a stir fry in a big machine that turns like a um, it turns like a machine, like a drying machine. So it's called like it turns in a circle and the tea comes up and comes down and comes up and comes down. And that uses a wood fire to heat it. But that's and this is whenever I talk about semi-handmade Maofeng, that's that. And that is the majority of Maofengs. But this one is different. This one does have that 100% handmade because it is done in the wok. Yeah, exactly. But it's for the Shaqing because after that, then it is baked dry in this. Usually it's baked dry in this. You have this like shelf, and it starts at the bottom. Like you have all these shelves, and there's a coal at the bottom. So you have one shelf that's closest to the bottom, and then you kind of move it up. It moves up, and everything moves up, and you kind of circle it. So the leaves have different distances from the charcoal and therefore get different layers of heat. This one, though, and I'll send pictures from their WeChat, this one uses that big basket drying, which is the traditional way to dry. So savory, super, a lot of pea notes. Really, really crisp on the tongue. I don't know too. There is a certain there is something in here that I think is going to calm down. There is a there is a to it, and it's not particular because it's not really a. But there's the savoriness on this one, which is interesting because, and I'm wondering because just like just like yanchas need to lose heat, so do green teas, but green teas lose heat much, much quicker, like 2 weeks. I think someone once told me. Well, no, okay, so here's the interesting thing. The whole goo is wood fire baked, and there's the difference. So usually, so there's like 3 levels of traditional, right? You have the most traditional, which is this big basket, fire underneath. You definitely see it in Guapian. You probably see it in other things. It looks just like the Wu Shan baking, that big basket and a charcoal underneath. Um, so that's the most traditional. And then I think like the second level of traditional, the thing that I don't think is as traditional but much more common, is that shelf where there's layers, and then you take the top one out, move it to the bottom, and everyone moves up, and that one goes to the bottom, and everyone moves up. But then there's this new one, and this is the wood fire, and I actually didn't like it. I made judgments about it for a long time. I was like, oh, this is not going to be good Malfum. And you have this big metal machine and these levers and these rows of levers, and they let it sit, and then they pull the levers, and what happens is it boom, let that bake a little bit longer, and then they pull that level, and boom, it drops down, and then boom, it jumps down, and then the final one, it kind of goes down the chute into the basket waiting below, and they usually do it again. Ooh, oops. That one, no, that one uses a wood fire. That one uses a wood fire. So a much higher heat, and usually some smokiness. Um, Smokiness is a very, very common thing you see for green teas. Well, it's not tossing, it's getting closer to the fire. They're dropping down the levels. That was super nice. Um, yeah, it's you pull a lever and it drops down closer to the flame. Really clean. It's soft. It's very, I'm hoping after it calms, the aroma comes out a little bit more. I think this one's good. I think I'm okay with this. I'm not super excited about it, to be honest. This is not. I'm much more excited for what. Well, now that I think about it, okay, I'm going to finish my sentence. I'm much more excited for what the cha shan is going to be and what the hogu is going to be. Hogu has always been my favorite. This is still good, still worth selling. But this, and I think, um, which is not preferred, which is because you, and this makes a lot of sense actually. Because yeah, I think the late pick is going to be a good pick. Um, with the late with the when you have cloudy, you don't have as much evaporation from the leaf, and it's a little harder to get the water out and just to get that brightness. And this was a bit over steep, so. But I think, first of all, I think it's still a good tea, still savory, still very much Malfong. Um, there's more of a vegetal note. I think this is good. I think this is good. Pea notes. It's always a little when you're not in this is one of the reasons I really like to focus on the region that I'm living in is just because it's always a gamble. It's always a gamble. Like I only bought the off the title. What it is here, yeah, the Beetle. Wow, y'all got really excited for the Beetle. I was not expecting that. That Beetleton is moving. That's a little bit of pressure, to be honest. No, I mean it's pressure, but it's not pressure. I'm glad that I did a mid-spring. A mid-spring is going to be much easier. It's just going to give me more time to taste more makers and find a good one, even though I think I found a good one, to be honest. I think this Wood Walk Fire, we're going to get into that in a second. I think that one is. All right. There is, so I think what is here, I think once again, this one is fresh off the roast, charcoal roast. So there's going to be, what there is just a little bit of cloudiness, a little bit of, and it's a roasty cloudy. It's a cloudiness because it has a depth to it, but there's a little bit of cloudiness that I think in the next few weeks is going to simmer off. It's going to kind of fade away, and that's when this tea is really going to shine. Because it's very similar to the way that this year, especially with the heavy roasted yenchas, with the yenchas this year, and just tasting them over the months and just watching the heat dissipate. And the heat, obviously, yenchas take much longer to dissipate the heat because it's a much higher roast. But yeah, all right. I think I have a cup behind me, and I think I can just. What I'm just going to do, actually, I don't want to waste it because it is a good tea. Oops, not what I meant to do. So we're going to definitely, oh man, you're killing me here, tea. Get in the cup. Oh, you've got to be joking. All right. So we're just going to turn that into a nice little grandpa style. All right, now we are going to switch to, the Beetletron. And we're going to just pour that all in, not waste any water. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, this is, And this is the other tricky thing that's the other thing I don't particularly like about not, and this is to be completely candid, the other thing I don't particularly like about not being in the region um, is that I can't get specific. I can't go in one day, taste the tea, and then go in 4 days later and taste the tea picked 4 days later. You know what I mean? Which is, I remember the first year that I did Hogu, that's what I did. You know, I tasted the tea and I was like, not yet. I'll come back next week. That's what I'm doing right now with Bilo Chun. You know, I have this Bilo Chun. I have this Bilo Chun, and I hate that chun. I have this Bilo Chun, and I'm like, this is good. I'm drinking it, but I think next week's going to get better. So I'm not going to put this. This is the one that I'm drinking now is for personal drinking. But yeah, let's get into Bilo Chun now. It's time for Bilo Chun. This one, so this I found as the water reboils. I found by pure luck, and it's funny because you can see it. I saved the moments to my Bilo Chun highlight. If you flip through a little bit, that I was in one shop. I didn't really like the tea, and this was the guy that was like, "How much do you want to buy?" And I'm like, "I don't." And he's like, "What?" You know, he had a kind of expectation I was going to buy, and my excuse for getting out of there was I'm going to go take the dog up the mountain. I had Izzy, I'm going to take Izzy up the mountain. And if any of you have gone hiking off trail, if you go up, you can't really come straight back down. You go up and you kind of come down to the left or to the right. So I went up and I kind of came down a little left of where I went up. And so I'm walking down this path. And it's funny because you see me holding the video and I'm talking and I'm this. And I go, oh, that's an interesting shop. And then I end up going back in. So here it was as the water boils. Is it the DR blank DR Bilo Chun? I don't know what that is. No. It was not the drug deal Bilo Chun. That Bilo Chun was trash. So I'm coming back down the mountain, and I see this room. And the first interesting thing was it was standalone. It wasn't part of a house. It was a standalone single room, 3 walls, and the 4th wall was windows. So you had floor-to-ceiling windows, and then you had a glass door. And there was nothing in there except tables, a freezer, and a wood fire walk. And so I'm walking past, and I'm like, that's interesting. And then I kind of go back, and I go, wait a minute, because that's weird. Having a village, a standalone room in a village is weird. You know, usually they have rooms part of their house or whatever. So I go in, and you know they're sorting tea, and I'm like, hey, and I'm looking around, and I'm looking at the wood fire walk, and I'm looking at it, and I see there's still wood sticking out of it, and I'm like, wait, this has been used, and I look around, and there's no gas walk, and I'm kind of pointing at it, and in my bad Chinese, you know, in my Chinese it takes me a minute to make the sentence, and I'm like, jigga, which means like this, like jigga. And they go in Chinese, they're like, oh yeah, no, this is how we cook our tea, wood fire walk. It's like, yes. And I tried their tea and I got a little excited and bought maybe a little more than I should have. I bought a full pound. I should have bought just half a pound. Because it's good for drinking by myself, but it's still early. It's still a little early in the season, and so as we're going to see, this is my first time actually drinking it. No, it's not what I want to do. This is going to be my first time drinking it in the Gong Fu style. I grandpa styled this tea like 4 times today. Because that's the nice thing about it. That's the nice thing about early picked teas. Like, yeah, they may be a little unflavorful, but when you have an early picked green tea, like I think a lot of green teas early in the season get away with just being fresh. Like, yeah, it's not that good of a tea. It's not that flavorful, but it's fresh. It just has that fresh green tea, just life and sweetness, just life. Um, we're going to cool the water now because now we're talking beetle churn. And beetle churn has a very, very small picking, very specific picking. You know, it's picked really early. That's actually really not. It's interesting. I thought a little bit earlier than it was, like compared to Longjing. Um, but the sorting, it gets sorted much more specifically. The sorting of beetle churn is super, super. Um, it's going to be till Guyu, Guyu, which is about the 20th of April, more or less, about a month. And really, the teas that are coming out, Guyu is Great Rain, by the way. The Guyu teas, the Great Rain teas are nah. That's farmer. That's the stuff they turn into black tea, actually. Um, okay, that's a good temperature. Okay, here we go. Beetle churn. I'm going to film it every chance I get. I'm going to put it on my moments every chance I get because I want to just kick this dead horse. Water first. Good beetle churn. I'm not going to weigh it. Fuck it. This is how good beetle churn should act. Boom. Right down. Let's just see that again. Just boom. I'm not even throwing it. Let's see if I can just place it lightly. I'm gonna try and just place it lightly. Good beetle churn 6. And the reason for this is that when they make beetle churn, they put it into a spiral shape. And the reason for that, according to this tea book I read, was that so actually this area has a lot of monasteries, there's a lot of long history of Buddhism, and even now there's a lot of active nunneries and monasteries. It's actually it's very active Buddhist culture, tradition. It's not just like ancient temples. No, there's still monks and they're still, taking vows and everything. And so apparently, according to this book, the reason beetle churn got its spiral, the way beetle churn got its spiral shape, because the monks looked at a statue of Buddha and they were like, Buddha's hair is spiral. If you look, you have those Buddha statues where it's the curls. He has curly hair. And so, of course, being the devout Buddhists they were, they started getting their teas to reflect reflect the Buddha, to be in the image of the Buddha. So that's, according to this source, that's where the curls came from. I keep getting off topic, but the point I was going to make, I started talking about not being in the area and not being able to really choose the picking too well, which maybe oh man, so are we going to lose connection over here? So I lost connection on Instagram. Let's see. I'm surprised I'm still connected here. I'm going to keep drinking, but the point I was making when we were talking about not being able to choose the picking is that I wonder if I kind of get the feeling that the Shishi and Feng is just like a little bit too early. Like I wonder if I had just gotten a little bit of a later pick. But then in the past, there hasn't really been the same amount of specific picks like there's been for the Cha Chams.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, a lot of sweetness, some nuttiness, some vegetal, super subtle, but there. Definitely a tea that I think we're gonna see what this next steep is. We're gonna jump actually right into this next steep. Enjoyable. I still drink it. Now that Instagram is not working, we can. And there's Izzy. What are you doing? I know what you're doing, Izzy. So you can see the second steep. Oh yeah, this second steep compared to the first one has a lot more color. I was talking to one of the Bilo Chun guys, and he was saying that for green teas in general, but also he's talking specifically about Bilo Chun. You want a golden color. You don't want it too green, which is very similar to Dale on my Instagram. And it's not gonna let me save the Instagram. Izzy, Izzy, are we getting a little pushy here? We're getting a little pushy. No, Izzy, no, off. Good. He's saying that you want a golden color. I think I could have used it a little more. Ooh. It's good. I don't want to dump it. It's very light, but it's still good. Let's see. Here it is. Second steep. This is going to be it. Let's see. This is going to be the steep that tells us where we're at. Oh, that's Bilo Chun. Oh, that's Bilo Chun. Bilo Chun. That's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So let's see if I can get Instagram to do any. Yeah, see now it's not going to share on Instagram. What's happening? Wow, that is okay. So the first thing I'm looking at is the first thing I'm noticing. The first thing I'm seeing is we're looking at cleanliness. Just it's clean, it's refreshing, it's warm. We're talking about texture and body. There's all these great things about it. The flavors are subtle, but there's still that Bilo Chun pop. There's still like, if you drink it, you want a tea to taste like the tea. If a tea is too early, it doesn't really taste like that tea yet. It's kind of like, if you put a whiskey in a barrel for 1 year, you're like, yeah, okay, this has a little bit of a, you put a scotch in it. There's no such thing as 1-year-old scotch, like 1-year aged scotch, because there's just nothing. That's not enough. That's not enough time in the barrel. You don't have enough. You might have a little bit of the flavor, a little bit of the peat, a little bit of the whatever, but you're not really gonna get that full flavor, and that's very similar to these early picked teas. But this one, what are you doing? I know what you're doing, but you need to stop. This one is very similar. If you have like a 4-year-old whiskey, where it's whiskey for sure, and you're starting to get these notes, and it may not be as developed as a 6-year or 12-year, but you have that 4-year-old whiskey. Yeah, this is quite nice. I'm going to jump right into that third steep. This was pure luck. Really nice. This was. Little thing about steeping, if you noticed, that second steep was a quick pour. This third steep, we are just letting it sit just a little bit longer, just a little bit. is he? Not super long. Bada bing, bada boom. That's good. It's really, really nice. And that's the thing. It has that Bilochuan-ness to it, that sharpness, that zest, that IPA hoppy. Really nice. That's super good. That's super, super good. I'm gonna do one more steep and then. Oh yeah, and nuts came out, and wow, that's really nice. That's really good. I'm quite satisfied with this actually. It's light, it's refreshing. You know, this is an early pick for sure, but just enough to be like, yeah, this is a Bilochuan. I didn't think it was going to be this good. All right, here we have it, boys and girls. The Bilochuan is good. The Malfang is good, but the Bilochuan is better. We'll have a conversation about that. So that's the teas for now. Thanks for watching. I have to take a look at. Honestly, I might take a look at. I gotta take a look at some stuff, see what I can do. You know, this Bilochuan might be worth. You know, a lot of you when you pre-ordered the early. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Next week, the core region Malfungs come out, and those Malfungs are going to be. That's when things are really going to get started. You know, that's the Malfungs I'm really excited about. I'm really excited for the Monkey Valley, which is going to be picking it's going to be picking a few days after Qingming, so a few days after the 4th. So it'll be about 2 weeks before we have that one. What am I doing? I'm blanking. Oh, I was gonna go see the 100% Handmade being made, but unfortunately my Qingming holiday was way shorter than I thought it was going to be. It's only 1 day, which is just not enough time at all. Sort of ridiculous. So unfortunately I won't be able to do that. But there is going to be. I am going to have a holiday in the end of April, beginning of May. So the teas will be finished. The green teas will be finished picking then. But I will do some traveling. I have some ideas of where I'm going to travel to. I have one particular idea that I don't want to. That I don't want to. Oh, she's a cat. That I don't want to spoil, but I do think it's going to be a very, very interesting. So basically, I have my two choices that I'm just considering is I can either go to areas where I know the tea and really double down, or I can go to this one location that I don't want to mention yet, which is a place people have talked about but not really gone. And yeah, so that's that. I got to see. So do I want to go somewhere new, or do I want to kind of double down on what I know? We're gonna figure that one out. But that's a tomorrow. We still got a few weeks to go, and there's a lot that's going to happen before that. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry that the Instagram's not working. I appreciate all of you.